so people try to creep this out relatively early, so definitely scout it out, the one that's closest to your opponent's base. By taking his out early, it leaves mine a little bit open to creeping later a little bit easier. Unfortunately, this is a very, very risky move for me, and my grunt has taken significant damage. He holds alt and immediately starts focus firing on it with his demon hunter and archers, and I'm forced to run away. I use chain lightning and I resummon my wolves for some stupid reason, and he does a really good job of using hide to deny me any archer kills there. I do have my grunts and wolves now behind his army, which is in really bad positioning. He decides to focus fire now on a weak grunt who's a 310, or the spear wolf. Either of those would have been good targets for him. My Farseer is now in the red, and I really have to retreat. He probably could have pursued me a good amount, brought the rest of his archers, or brought his archers that were weak to heal a Moonwell. I did send a wolf out. I'm ready to resummon it as soon as I can, in case something bad happens, like he gets scouted out. I don't want to feed my opponent any wolf experience. But I basically sent that out to see if I could find if he went back to retreat to his base or not. I noticed that I didn't see him on the way back, so I kind of assumed that he's still kind of sticking outside of his base. But he does go back, and my wolf gets unsummoned before I see that. So I sent another wolf out. This wolf was meant to scout out this gold mine, but I think it gets unsummoned before it gets there. We'll see how that works. No, I was able to see that that gold mine wasn't cleared. I figured since he had a little bit of advantage there forcing me to retreat, that he would have used that time to try to clear out a gold mine. But instead, he kind of regrouped his forces, and now he's attacking the Goblin Merchant Shop. Fortunately, his Demon Hunter's taken a lot of damage from the trolls here. Those actually should be among your first targets. The Troll Warlord might even make a very good first target because he's the one who drops the item. So if you can just get all your units in there surrounded at nighttime and take him out, grab that item and get out, definitely a good idea. But if anything, you really need to take out those Troll Trappers or anything. They're the real damage of that camp. So if you're looking for a more efficient way of trying to clear that, and maybe you didn't know how, you definitely want to creep out, clear the creeps that do the most damage first, and avoid taking out the fatter creeps like the ogres and things like that. So he's going for kind of a tier 1 mix here. He's still at Tree of Life actually, he hasn't tech, and I'm at tier 2, so I'm a bit of a tech advantage here. I've been scouting, as you see, constantly with my Farseer. If you're going for a Farseer and you don't already do this, please, please send your wolves out whenever you can to scout. It's one of the biggest advantages to going Farseer. So I'm actually not paying attention here. I think one of my grunts may die. I don't even remember. Maybe I micro them away. So yeah, there's a lot of games I'm doing comment audios on today, so I'm trying to keep them all straight. Manual Health and Talesman Evasion, really, really cool items for any hero, but nice for my Farseer too. Generally, you want to put that on a hero that's going to be taking a lot of hits. If you have a Blade Master, it works really well on a Blade Master. But Tauren Chieftain would have been a good idea, which I'm building right now. He's almost halfway done, to put that on, because I figure the Tauren Chieftain is going to be taking more hits. But actually, if you kind of double think about that, is your opponent's going to kind of assume that your Tauren Chieftain is a bad target because you would have buffed him up, or that he's a big meat shield anyway. So usually people don't attack the Tauren Chieftain out as soon as, especially even when he's new out, they don't attack him unless they're sure they can kill him. So it's not necessary really to put that item on your Tauren Chieftain, as your Farseer is kind of a more tasty target at that point because he's a lower HP int hero and a little bit more vulnerable even than a level 1 Tauren Chieftain, because he's going to have even less HP than a level 1 Tauren Chieftain. So again, I'm trying to scout out. I want to make sure that my opponent does not get an economic advantage, since I've assumed, or now that I know that he doesn't really have a tech advantage on me. I'm trying to, now that I have the tech advantage, just to try to secure an economic advantage over him so that I can feed my now tech that I have. I was having to refortify my army a little bit. I think I've recreated a few grunts since I lost them to these early game interactions. It actually hasn't hurt me too bad, but it is delaying my production of raiders a little bit here. So I'm going in right now for another little bit of a hit. This would actually be about the time that if he was teching to tier 2, that maybe he would have had some buildings up. So use Chain Wave there really effectively. I think I'm going to be able to get this last hit on this archer here. No, he uses a Moonwell. Instead, I decide to opt for the Surround on his Demon Hunter, which is level 3. Normally a bad target, but his Demon Hunter was way out in the open. I did my damage. I'm done here. I figured his army is a little bit bigger than mine and is able to focus fire. Actually, his army was bigger than mine. Even without his hero, it's still bigger than mine. So I just wanted to be able to do what I could. I canceled an Ancient Allure, and I was able to take out his level 3 Demon Hunter. So big advantage for me now. I was able to, distract him I'm really distracted him. I was able to take out his Demon Hunter, so definitely a good thing for me. That's never a bad thing, but that definitely helps when I'm trying to build my expansion here. That's another good reason to go in for an attack or a little bit of a push, is while you're building your expansion, you want to keep your opponent busy. Unless you're planning on sitting on your expansion to making sure it happens, you might as well bring the fight to your opponent. Again, sending out my wolves, something that if you go Farseer and you don't do already, something that you need to consider doing is sending your wolves out to scout. Here, his army is running right through my mine, so I'm able to, I only have one raider for Ensnare now. This kind of hurts me here. I was able to get Ensnare off on a Huntress, and I bring my units around to try to surround and get it killed. It does fade, and he's going to be able to get out a little bit, but I'm going to get the last hit on with my Farseer and Raiders. Ensnare refreshed on that one Raider, so I was able to pick off his Archer. So his army pretty much ran right through me and was able to go to the tavern to tavern res his Demon Hunter. This is generally a bad idea as someone to do, especially if I'm going to know that you're doing it so obvious that he does it. So I force a TP as soon as I see his Demon Hunter was tavern resed. I know he's going to have no mana, he's going to be at half health, so it's definitely a good target for me, especially since I think he has a bit of an army advantage right now, and until I get the rest of my Raiders up. And I'm actually going for Spirit Lodge here too first. I think I go for Spirit Link, being in fear of all the focus fire. Spirit Link, again, something very, very nice to use versus all the focus fire. Spreads out the damage amongst all the Spirit Linked units. Works really good when you're having a Shadow Hunter with Healing Wave. As I mentioned actually in the last audio I did before this one, that Healing Wave kind of doubles the effectiveness of Spirit Link. Even if you don't have Healing Wave, having the damage spread amongst your units makes it a lot easier to micro already really big tanks, so nice to do that. My expansion's up and running now. Got some peons going to it. I'm so paranoid in this game that my opponent is having expansion. I haven't scouted out the natural spawning location up in the top, the northwest position. I don't know what that is. Is that like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock position? I haven't scouted that out, so I kind of think that there's something there. But more importantly, or more knowingly, I think that his expansion spot, his option, is going to be that north spot. The spot that he's got closest to his base, that I kept scouting out a lot, that I just actually came from, is a bad location for him because it's in between his base and my base. When my close gold mine is actually close to, or is way far away from his base. So yeah, I guess, remember when I said earlier that I figured my spawn location was better? It is because of that. Basically because I'm going to be able to quickly get to my expansion whenever I need to, and he's not going to be able to. And more importantly, is his is going to be a lot harder to defend against, since I'm going to be able to quickly get to it, and mine's harder for him to get to. So I did some more damage there. I canceled again another Ancient Allure, forcing him to stick with Archers and Huntresses, which is really, really nice. Even though he is in Tier 2, I've been able to cancel this Ancient Allure and deny him any sort of tech. Really, if you're going to be going Chain Lightning and Shockwave, you want to keep him away from Dryads, because Dryads are immune to magic. And Archers and Huntresses, although Huntresses are a little bit less susceptible to it, Archers especially fall really quickly to Chain Wave. And now since I have my tech advantage here, it's just a matter of applying it correctly. You don't want to lose this tech advantage by rushing into your opponent's base and killing him. You notice right now my army size is a little bit higher than his, but he has a lot more units. And his Archers right now are in pretty good position to do a lot of focus fire. My Farseer was up a lot, and that was actually planned. I wanted him to target my Farseer first. Again, has that Tailspin of Evasion, so he makes a good target. And since I knew he was opting for more of a focus fire strategy, I figured my Farseer could take it more to the face, with better than my units here. If you hold alt, you see a lot of his units are in the red, so he's going to decide to back off. I, unfortunately, wasn't holding alt at this point, and I could have gotten 3 or 4 kills there relatively easily, but instead I decided to Town Portal, which was, in hindsight now, it looks kind of wasted. Jeez, look at all those corpses on the ramp. But yeah, it was a little bit wasted because he had decided to move back. I think my plan was to just Town Portal out of there with my Farseer being so low, and actually because my heroes were low on mana, this makes my Chain Wave idea a little bit less effective if they don't have mana. So I decided to Town Portal. That was my option, and it was a little bit early, probably a little bit not really risky to do, but a little bit too careful. I probably could have pushed the bar a little bit. Let's check food counts again. I'm at 50 food and he's at 40 food, but again I have this kind of tech advantage